like that. Major League Baseball, however, is not my majority African American, and so that would extremely be interesting to see how those players feel, and when the time comes, if they will go and visit the White House. Just because that is one of America's longest running games in history. I mean, you think about baseball. Baseball has, 100, 200-year history in America? I mean, it's been here forever, you know? So that would be interesting to see. And I think if a baseball team did not go, I think that would have a serious impact on how his leadership is viewed in America. If a baseball team decided not to go, that would be an amazing statement.
Yeah, and Dollars and Cents says, BS3, we have always been known that we get the shorter sticks than other guys. He said, I'm a pharmaceutical rep, and I know I will get a shorter stick than other reps, and about why can I have common sense and realize that I'm not doing something because I know I'll get in more trouble. When are we gonna figure that out, bro? I mean, that's 100% correct. We have to know it going into it, and this is going back to the Zeke thing a little bit. We know that it's well known that that's gonna happen, but we have to start thinking at the next level, being mature. And I don't like to compare, but if you compare Dak and Zeke, it's two completely different people with the same amount of probably skill, but obviously Dak has had to fight harder to get to where he is. So I think it's definitely having to realize where we are, who we are, and what's at stake for us. And then he says Celtics would go, Timberwolves would go, as far as to the White House. And I think it also depends on the ownership. If the ownership is, who knows, could have been somebody that voted for Trump. Who knows, could be somebody that is friends with Trump. We don't, that also has I think a deciding factor on who would go.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely feel that as well. When you look at the type of teams, I think we have to weigh the leadership of those teams as well and say, hey, with those leadership individuals, make them go. You know, you see like NFL teams, you're seeing their leadership kind of speaking up, sort of like not trying to mix politics with football and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see how people respond to this, and overall, like if teams will go, if teams will embrace that opportunity, or teams will pass up. I know the Warriors. The Warriors is going to pass up on this opportunity, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah. I'm not shocked, like I said, about that. All right, so the ESPN with their fantasy football auction draft. I don't know if you've seen this, but clearly they have overstepped their boundaries. Clearly they have made a mistake. If they didn't see Get Out, that's exactly what it looked like, and it just seems like it was bad taste. I don't know if you've seen it, but I wanted to definitely touch on that because that was something where the ESPN kind of overstepped its boundaries on that one.
I did not see it. I've heard people complain about it, which is interesting. I guess, like I said, ESPN tried to do something creative. It didn't go over well.
Didn't go out, yeah.
In many communities, it did not go over well.
No.
Yeah, so I think they should rethink that one, having a little auction for players and things like that. And primarily just because historically we know how that looks, how that is. Historically, you know, Africans being brought over here as slaves and being auctioned off for jobs. And you already have this idea that African Americans don't have a voice in the NFL. So that makes it even worse, right? With everything that's going on right now, you know, maybe it was a good, you know, like I said, it was a poorly designed idea. It was a poorly designed idea in the wrong part of time, in the wrong time period, right? Just because everything that's going on right now, it just wasn't cool.
Yeah. It was something that I did a double take looking at it like, okay, I get it, but the majority of the players were also African American, so you got that with their face on a stick. It draws a huge comparison to Get Out. I mean, no other way around it.
Yeah.
Now, the guy at ESPN apologized, but the apology was lackluster. I'm gonna be real about it. The apology was lackluster. Basically, he was saying, if you feel sorry or if you feel bad about what we put out, we apologize. That's not a true apology. Apology is saying, I'm sorry, it was our mistake. We will go back to the drawing board and look at and do something differently. But to throw out an apology like that was sad.
Definitely, it was no ownership of that one. It was like, hey, if you were offended, then my fault.
Yeah, my bad.
Like, yeah, you were offended. I don't really care if you was, like, I'm still going to do it. If you were offended, then you're bad. But
right.
We're still, for those who enjoyed it, you keep on enjoying it. Nah, bro, that ain't cool.
Yeah, that didn't come out well at all. Dollars and Cents says, clearly they didn't consult with one ninja in upper management. That's 100%. That's 100. They didn't even talk to anybody. They didn't say, hey, somebody at ESPN, or, they could have talked to Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith would have shot that down immediately. But they could have talked to Stephen A. Smith and said, hey, do you think this is a good idea? He probably would have said, hell to the no. You need to, don't do that. That is not going to be a good idea.
Jamil.
They
could have consulted him, Jamil Hill. I mean, there's a bunch of people they could have consulted. It's a bunch of colored commentators with ESPN that they could have consulted. That didn't work out well.
Yeah, they didn't think that one out very well. All right, so some other things from this week with the NFL. Blake Bortles, which I'm not a Blake Bortles fan. I don't think I've ever been one. But he is now taking second team snaps compared to Chad Henne. What is going on with these Jaguars? Come on. What they should have done was they should have drafted a quarterback instead of the kid from LSU, Fournette. You should have drafted a quarterback. I know you want to seal up your running game, but you already had TJ Yeldon. So to me, again, these Jaguars are struggling. And here's the bigger question. Could this be a landing spot for Kaepernick?
And he comes up again. I mean, again, I said this, I think I said this 2 weeks ago when we were talking, and we're talking about the quarterbacks that Kaepernick is better than that are starting. And Blake Bortles was one that I pointed out. I said, hey, you mean to tell me that this dude can't go into Jacksonville and get in Jacksonville in the playoffs? Yes, he can. Jacksonville is far too talented of a team to look the way that they look. And it's simply because of quarterback play. Chad Henne, they drafted. He didn't work out. They drafted Blake Bortles. He hasn't worked out. Go get a veteran quarterback. Go get a quarterback that can run the offense. Draft another one next year and start grooming him. Colin Kaepernick will fit perfectly. He throws the deep ball. They have receivers that go get the ball. They got, Allen Robinson, Allen Hurns. Those dudes go and get the ball. It's so crazy to me to see a receiver so talented like Allen Robinson complaining on the sideline, like, can you keep the ball in bounds, please? He didn't use those words. He used them explicit.
Oh, yeah.
But basically said, hey, can you throw the ball in bounds? Give me an opportunity to catch the ball. And if anybody saw the highlights from the last game, oh my God, he had Allen Robinson wide open. He underthrew him by 10 yards. It was terrible. It was terrible, And this is a starting quarterback that had a wide open receiver. I could have made that pass. I can't throw it all, but I could have made that pass. I guarantee I would have made that pass. He was not open. Hell, you couldn't even overthrow him. So, it's just terrible. But you're right. This is a situation where they have a new coach, Doug Marrone. He's a new coach there. He was trying to create a culture, and he basically said, this position up for grabs. I don't have a starting quarterback right now. It's up for grabs. He hasn't stated that he's going to start looking from the outside. But I feel like going into the season, if this doesn't work, I mean, you got to make a change somewhere. And I feel like because it's so late into the season, so late into preseason or whatnot, because all season workouts, training camp, etc., late for all season, it's hard for you to go get a quarterback and bring them in right now. But I could see them going to get like Colin Kaepernick, let's say week 3, week 4, when the Jags are 0-4 and they're looking at not making the playoffs again.
Yeah.
So they should. I definitely see them on the radar.
All right. Now, Dollars and Cents, he says, nope. He says the Saudi owner is just as racist as white owners. He is thinking Cap is a fake Muslim. He said, name a billionaire from Saudi Arabia that like black folk. So, I mean, you may have a good point there. There was a photo I seen there was Cap. He was in New York, and it was an Uber that was picking him up. And, I immediately thought, hey, maybe he's in New York meeting with the Jets. But I got a friend that said that's actually where he lives. So technically that may not be a potential landing spot. I know the Jets were somewhere it was linked to Cap a couple of weeks ago. But again, I think it's going to happen sooner or later. I don't know what team it's going to be. But as teams start to realize and figure out how much their teams suck and how much their quarterback sucks, they will be reaching out to him very soon. Again, I just don't know what team it's going to be.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to call him.
Yeah, somebody's going to take it and be willing to jump in with him. All right, I wanted to get your thoughts on Raiders camp. With you being there, how's everybody looking? What's the word around what's going on with the Raiders and their shot, you think, this year?
I think they have a pretty good shot, man. I think they're pretty confident. Derek Carr looks like he's healed well. He's getting back into his groove. Marshawn looks like he's ready to go. This is a team who really has championship aspirations. And I mean, they truly believed last year that they could have got to the Super Bowl. They believed that they were able to challenge the New England Patriots. That's the feeling that they have. They feel like they've added a couple extra pieces on the defensive end, with some on the defensive side. They are crazy about Khalil Mack. As you know, he's made a personal goal to get 30 sacks this year, right? Which is crazy. 30 sacks is crazy, right? But he's made a personal goal to get 30 sacks. This is a team who believes they are ready to get to a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl. And the confidence is high here. The confidence is high. I believe the community, the people believe that the Raiders have the best chance out of anybody to dethrone the New England Patriots. So,
yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do this year. I think they have a squad. They have a flat-out squad that I think is going to produce something this year. I think I definitely see them getting in the playoffs. I'm thinking the ceiling is probably the conference championship, and it's looking bright for them right now. It's looking bright. With Beast Mode there, I think he's going to be ready to go. Like you said, I agree with that 100%. And once again, we're talking with Tyjun Mack. It's always great to have him on to get his thoughts, to get his opinion. And, man, I appreciate you. Make sure you have a good rest of your Saturday.
Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate it, man. I'll see you in a couple weeks, man.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We'll be linking up. We'll be doing the show together for sure, depending on what, when you get here.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, man. Take care.
Have a good one.
All right. All right, that was Tyjun Mack. We always talking to weekend sports. I want to give a shout out to Michael Bonner in the chat room. Welcome. And he says in the chat room, the Jets will never sign him. The owner, Woody Johnson, is one of Trump's right-hand men. He would never bring Cap on with all the controversy surrounding him. And it's a great point. That's a great, solid point right there, because I'm sure there's a lot of owners that are Trump supporters, which again is going to